Hey there, and welcome to a much needed video on this channel. This is not part of any of the series I'm doing right now, but I've been scrolling through Reddit just to try and find theories to cover, because my brain doesn't make theories. I look at other people's theories sometimes. And I've seen countless theories about who's the power broker, and I'm not going to be talking about just that. But it kind of intrigued me as to what other things are going on Reddit. So we're going to be looking at some of the Reddit posts that have intrigued me. And some of them because they're quite frankly really unbelievable or weird. And some because I think they should definitely be looked into more. So get ready for the most theories I've put into a video yet. I expect this will be quite long. But who knows. So theory 1. This one is the one I wrote the most about because I think it's like we have to cover this. If MCU Earth 199999 is the sacred timeline, then Earth 616 is no longer the sacred timeline as it used to be. This post was put on by Reddit user Worthsong and has been commented on by Reddit user Mr. Noobless. But I want to kind of add my own view to this. So when I'm watching any Marvel movies, I don't even bother to compare them to the comics because there are going to be just some things from the comics that are too costly for Marvel to turn into a live action film. And some of the things are just going to be too dangerous to even try and pull off. I don't even think that Earth 616 exists in the, when people are looking at Marvel movies, so it never was the sacred timeline in the beginning by that view. So I don't know what any of the other fans think of this, but this is my opinion. Feel free to share yours in the comments. And Mr. Noobless agrees with the fact, saying if we're taking the TVA at face value, Earth 616 doesn't exist in Loki. So of course there's always the chance that the TVA are keeping lots of secrets from us, but like they say, let's just look at it at face value for now because it would make it too confusing if not. So, theory 2. How was Steve Rogers not arrested by the TVA? What he did was much worse than what Loki did. This post was put on by Reddit user Ricardo Javier 1980. And I see why you would think that, but I've even talked about this with my dad and we completely agree that this is a theory that isn't really true. So Steve did change the timeline for Peggy because she wouldn't have then gone on to have kids and marry her mysterious husband, whose name we never learn in the actual MCU. However, the TVA confirmed that everything that happened during the time heist of Avengers Endgame was meant to happen, including Steve staying with Peggy. Loki's stealing of the Tesseract would eventually mean that he doesn't encounter Thanos and get killed, whereas the writers of Endgame confirmed that Peggy Carter's mysterious husband, who she mentioned in The Winter Soldier, was in fact Steve. So they actually confirmed that. Steve and Peggy getting married was always meant to happen in the sacred timeline, so it wasn't a concern that the TVA had. I get why you'd think that this was worse, but I think there are just some really strong steggy shippers in the TVA. But maybe just think before you post stuff online, because it's quite easy to sort of knock that one out of the park. So, theory 3. The title of this one on Reddit had some strong language in it, so I'm substituting the word. I'm keeping this channel as family friendly as I can. So, is Doctor Strange an idiot for letting Tony Stark die? The answer is no way. I spoke about this one with my dad as well. We both speak about these theories quite a bit. You can't call Doctor Strange an idiot because he literally saw every possible outcome, and he only saw one in which they won against Thanos, and Tony had to die for them to win. Plus, this was kind of a fitting death for Tony, if you think about it, because his character arc is just brilliant throughout the 11 years since Iron Man. Well, 11 years when Infinity War came out, of course. He began being his genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist self who only cared about himself, yet he grew in his journey from being Iron Man and ending up sacrificing himself for the universe. he redeemed himself in so many ways. It's a fitting end for Tony, so move on to the next stage of grief and accept that it wasn't actually anyone's fault, seeing as Tony decided to sacrifice himself. That one was also by Ricardo Javier. Yeah, so there are quite a few on here by them. Theory 4. Here's my mini theory about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier WandaVision connection. About the Flag Smashers aren't super soldiers, but mutants created by Wanda in WandaVision. This is another one from Ricardo Javier 1980. So I talked to my dad about this and we weren't sure whether the facts that I wrote down were actually true. But it's kind of what I pieced together while we were watching it and what he also thought happened. But we don't know whether that's actually what happened or not. It's kind of just our inference from what happened. So we know the Flag Smashers are actually super soldiers because from what I got from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, when they were fighting the Flag Smashers on top of that truck, what Sam and Bucky thought were vaccines in the truck were actually the super soldier serum. I'm not sure about that because they said that there was originally going to be some sort of virus thing going on within it, but they took it out because of COVID. But I think, and my dad thinks, that the super soldier serum was what they thought were vaccines. However, as well as this, if you don't believe that, Sharon is the power broker. We know Sharon is the power broker. There is nothing that, I think everyone who watched it kind of gathers now that Sharon is the power broker, unless that one person I saw on Reddit that said it was Patch, but I'm not sure. I reckon it's definitely Sharon. We know if Sharon is the power broker, then Carly had contacts with her and therefore had access to the serum, seeing as the power broker was the one that started making the serum or having her scientists make the serum. So if anyone does have more evidence or evidence against what I've said, because any of that could have been wrong, feel free to comment it below. I'll mention it in the next video, because I don't want to be saying fake rubbish on this channel. So, Theory 5. Wanda was actually the villain in WandaVision and Agatha was the hero. This one is also by Ricardo Javier once again. If they ever watch this video, I'm really sorry that I'm kind of debunking all of your theories on Reddit, but most of the theories on there were by them. So I actually agree with this one to some extent, but I'm keeping in mind that Wanda is my hurt baby and she did everything for a reason, so I'm kind of a bit biased. Obviously, that's not saying Wanda can defend all of her actions with the fact that everyone she's ever loved has died, but she was so far into grief that her powers were out of control, and she did rectify that later by letting everyone go out of the hex. So if Wanda was the villain, I think she was the villain for some time, but Agatha kind of topped that by torturing Billy and Tommy. So overall, I think Agatha was a bit much worse than Wanda. But Wanda did hurt a lot of people, so maybe it could be argued that they're equally evil, and plus with the fact that there is a chance that Wanda will go on to be the villain in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. It hasn't been announced yet, but I think that there's a high chance, because she's messing with the multiverse all over. So now on to Theory 6. I've done 7 of these, so actually near the end. So this one's not much of a theory as a question, but I thought I'd better answer it. Walt of Winterfell asked, when the Timekeepers reset the 2012 Avengers timeline, what does it reset to? Well, it would reset to make sure that the variant, Loki, didn't perform the action that created a branch in the timeline, picking up the Tesseract. So 2023 Tony wouldn't lose the Tesseract and therefore would not have to go back to 1970. He would never meet up with his dad. And let's face it, if that happened, maybe Steve wouldn't have gone back to Peggy, because he went back because he saw her in, in the scientific place. Can't remember what it's called, because I've watched every other movie more times than Endgame, because Endgame makes me cry too much. So this would definitely change Avengers Endgame as we know it, but I guess we'll never see that version of it, so it's up to your imagination now. Theory 7. Big Bowl Buds, I have no idea what that means, says, the stones in the drawer offer clues, 6 or 7 time stones, more than one endgame win that Strange couldn't see. The TVA might have reset that timeline. I'm guessing that we're talking about the stones in Casey's drawer in Loki. How I interpret it is that the Avengers were always meant to win. Like, that was always going to happen. So each time somebody did something wrong, like if Strange didn't save Tony Stark in Infinity War, that was a branch on the sacred timeline because they did something they weren't meant to. That meant that the TVA had to go in and reset it to the beginning of the war, arresting and killing the person who messed it up, because we know that if they plead guilty, they kill them, most likely, or torture them. Maybe Miss Minutes tortures them. They discussed that on New Rockstars. That was like the weirdest thing that I watched on there. So it depends on how you look at it, but I don't think there are any more endgame wins that Strange didn't see when he looked into the future, because let's face it, like 14 million or whatever it was is quite a lot. So, that is the last theory of today's video. I covered a lot in this, and my tongue hurts. I've talked that much, so maybe I won't do another one of these, but if I find a load of weird theories again, plus the fact that Loki episode 2 came out today, I've already watched it, no spoilers on here yet. There's probably going to be a whole lot more on Reddit, so maybe we'll have to do another video to cover them. Alright then, make sure to subscribe and turn notifications on so you never miss a video, and please like the video because I keep getting random views. I know nobody's viewed it, but it's saying like half my videos have 1 view. Yeah, that's how popular I am at the moment. But they don't have a view. Because I know full well that no one's seen it, because when I go onto YouTube Studio, it says the only videos that have views are the ones that I viewed myself because I forgot that I made them, aka the first 3 videos on the channel. So, yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next video. Bye.